I know it's the official first day. How much, though, has the official first day kind of changed so much just because of how much time you already get with your guys?
Yeah, I'm sick of these guys already. I don't know. First day feels like the last day. No, you have so much time with them, but it is restricted, and practices are great. You have the summer, you have the 8 weeks, and then we've been going really since around August 20-some. I don't know what day it was, but the second week of school in August. So we've been together a lot on the court, but it is a little choppy, right? I mean, because you only get, like 3 team workouts a week or 2 team workouts a week, depending how you do them. So to be more consistent, to have the hour restrictions come off, where you have 20 hours a week now, so you can go 5 days a week, I think that allows you to make more progress. Because it does, you have some good stuff, and you're like, oh, we're off for 3 days, and you come back, and you got to kind of rebuild. So now is the time it's not our first, and I mean, technically is our, I guess, but it does feel like a new beginning because you're going to have more consistency at your practices.
And I say this somewhat jokingly, but I'm sure it helps when you're not transitioning, moving into a house, finding a place to live where over the summer and the times you've had some other things on your plate.
Yeah, this is way better to be stable in a house and have kind of some semblance of normalcy around it, and not that I didn't like living in the University Village with the students, but staying up till 4 in the morning to all the partying. I don't know when those people study, but it's been nice, yeah. So you get to fall now. October's here, kind of season's around the corner. This is probably the most fun, but also probably the most important time of the year in terms of your building and your foundation and making sure you're developing winning habits on both sides of the floor. We talked today about really trying to be a team with really high levels of soundness, teamness, and toughness. Really anything with ness in it, I just put in there. But we really want to embody those things, and we know we don't have a big margin for error. So it's vital that we develop those things now, and really between September 30th and November 9th, make an incredible amount of progress. Then we can kind of build from there.
You brought up in one of your first answers to me, Coach, just about how it is different. Even though you do get time in the summer, there are some restricted areas. So in terms of ratcheting it up, what is the biggest difference of what you went through over the last couple of months to now, and what you try to do now that you're in season to maybe turn up the gauge a little bit?
Yeah, I think you can cover more. Like, we've done a good job of kind of working on the foundational and framework shell of how we want to play offense and how we want to play defensively. We haven't even really touched. There's so many things in basketball you got to be ready for. So, how are we going to attack zones? Well, 2-3s, 3-2s, 1-3-1s. How are we going to attack zone press, man press? How are we going to attack different ball screen coverages? We've just either haven't done them all or just skimmed through them. Now we got to really dive deep, and this extra time is going to allow us early, like this summer, because everything was so new. All we did, honestly, was put in our transition offense and our flow. We call our flow, our motion offense. We didn't put in a single play. We just put in the base of our defense, one ball screen coverage. That's all we did all summer, was try to learn how to play in transition in our motion and put in the base of what we want to do defensively. And then we've added some stuff as we've gone along. We haven't touched, when I look at my outline of kind of like what we got to cover this season, we have a ton to get to in these next 40 days, and we got to not only get good at, but understand how to attack. So if we go play a game and a team springs something on us, that we're able to counter that. We've seen it, we've reviewed it, and there's some sort of working knowledge of what we're seeing, and then again, how we do that on both ends of the floor. Because you're not going to play one ball screen coverage. You're going to have multiple. You're not going to see one ball screen coverage. We may have to learn. We have to trap the post zones. We have to learn how to attack different stuff, and then obviously negate stuff on the defensive end. So that's going to be the biggest difference now, is perhaps be more tailored to building those things. I think the foundation is in on both ends. Now it's just the nuanced stuff to get us to November 9th, and then really you transition your practice transition from building those frameworks to now that all should be in. And now it's really tailoring your practices to what you got to do that specific game to be successful.
I know you've given a lot of different interviews just about culture and what you're building here, and not just here, but what you have built in the past. But I know it's about winning, and it's about ultimately what this team will look like on the court. But in terms of off the court, what are you most proud about of how a group that maybe didn't know anybody in the locker room and knew who they exactly were just a couple months ago really seems like it's a group now that knows each other inside and out.
Yeah, I've been that exactly. You know, is we came together and like every team, you know, there's a big difference between having a bunch of guys who have the same name in their jersey and being an actual team. And the ones that are an actual team, those are the ones that win. And to be a real team, you got to care about each other, and it's got to be more than just basketball. And you try to recruit a group of high character guys. You try to recruit guys that you know are about the right things, that are made up of the right stuff, have the right kind of fiber. And you put that together, that helps facilitate it. We've done some things team building wise, you know, but the biggest thing is the quality of people. When your best player is like a Tyreek Key, who happens to be one of the best human beings in the world, that helps facilitate that, because a lot of times you take on the personality of your best player. So Reek being that and then being who he is has been unbelievably beneficial. But that's been what I've been most proud about, is that this group, you know, there's a good connection, a good synergy, a good caring for one another. I always think really good teams feel responsible to one another. And this group, I think, feels that. And they compete out here, but then it doesn't, you know, spill over beyond this. They compete their brains out here, iron sharpens iron, and then they walk off the court and we're together.
I heard one of the speed dating questions was, do your best Coach Schertz impersonation. Who had the best one?
You know, Zach Hobbs had a good one. Zach Hobbs is probably the best. They all tried it. They all brought it out. And surprisingly, no one refrained. Everybody wanted to do their impersonation. So it was, but Hobbs, I have to give Hobbs the credit on that one. Hobbs is pretty good.
Coach, just really, and final, I know because we'll catch up with you throughout practices as you gear up to the year, but what do you feel can be the biggest strength of your group? I know there's a lot more, as you mentioned, that you want to put in and really find out before you really speak about what could be a strength, what could be a weakness. What ultimately do you feel can really be a bright spot for this group from what you've already seen early?
I think we have a lot of guys who can really handle, pass, and shoot. And so I think they can make the game easier for each other. I think we've got a group that has the skill level to accentuate each other, where, you know, maybe Cam Henry's passing accentuates Kubernetes moving, or Tyreek Key's ability to shoot, you know. And then I think we have in Tyreek a go-to guy that, hey, you know, when things are tight and you need somebody to go and get a bucket late, we got a guy that's as good a horse as there is, you know, in the Missouri Valley. So I think those are the biggest things. I think, you know, that, and then I think as a group, there is a good connectivity. I think they care for each other. We'll see. We haven't been through adversity yet. You know, we always say, you know, that's the true serum. So we'll see. It's easier now where everybody's practicing playing, you know, when minutes are distributed and guys aren't maybe playing, getting what they want. You know, that's the true test of how connected we are, what kind of team we are. But that, you know, but I do think the amount of skill we have with a variety of guys that can all handle, pass, shoot, and then having an elite go-to guy and Tyreek are probably two things that stand out to me in terms of that we, you know, areas we can be. And I think hopefully, you know, defensively we got a chance to be, I think, a good defensive team as we understand conceptually what we do. We obviously got a lot of growth, particularly in transition D, because you don't play transition D, you don't play any other defense because taking the ball in the net off layups. So we've got to get better there. But, you know, we still have time to develop that and grow, and that's something that'll be a fluid deal all year.